Welcome back! Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just gonna tell you a ghost story, we're gonna take it apart, almost like a forensic analysis, to see how horror really works, how it gets under your skin. We're deconstructing the haunting of Maya.
So, let's get right into it. You know, every great ghost story seems to start with a happy dream, right? For the Kulkarni family, it was this brand new life waiting for them in Mumbai. But the big question here is, how does that dream just completely curdle and turn into a nightmare? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out.
Okay, so our story kicks off, as so many of these do, with a family and a new house. Let's meet the Kulkarnanis. Right now, they're on top of the world, thinking they're at the start of this amazing new chapter in their lives.
And here they are. This is so important for a good horror story, right? You need that baseline of just normal life. You've got Ashok, the dad, with his government job, Lata, the mom, excited to make this new house a real home, and their daughter, Vedika, who's stoked about being in Mumbai for school and work. They seem like a totally normal, happy family, and they have absolutely no idea what's waiting for them inside the walls of that convenient old house. And there it is, the very first sign that something is just off. Vedika's cleaning a room, and she spots these weird red stains. Her first thought? That looks like blood. But you immediately push that thought away. Nah, it's just old paint. It's that classic first warning sign that's so easy to ignore. Well, the house, it doesn't really give them much time to stay in denial. This is where things really start to pick up steam. We're about to go from that first little whisper of unease to a full-on scream. Let's see how it happens.
Okay, so look at this progression. It's a textbook escalation of a haunting. First, it's just sounds. Things you could easily explain away. Scratching under the bed, footsteps on the roof. Then it gets visual and way more personal. Vedika sees her mom in the kitchen, and then she just vanishes. Terrifying. After that, it gets physical and disruptive. Latate is being tormented by a phantom doorbell, and Ashok's important work files get totally trashed. You see how it's not random? Each event is chipping away at them, designed to break them down one by one.
So at this point, the family is, understandably, at their breaking point. They're terrified. And this is where the story takes a really modern twist. They don't go looking for some old-school mystic. No, they call in an expert.
And this is a really interesting part of the story, I think. Instead of the traditional tantric Baba, Vedika's friend recommends a guy named Yash, who is a paranormal expert. This completely changes the game. We're moving away from ancient rituals and into the world of tech, ghost hunting cameras, EMF meters. The story shifts from just a scary haunting into a full-blown investigation. It's not just about being scared anymore. It's about finding answers.
And this right here is what makes it so creepy. Yash brings in all his high-tech gear and gets nothing. Zero. It's like whatever is in the house is smart enough to hide from the equipment. But Yash himself, he can feel it. He says, there is some negativity in this house that I have also felt. So the tech fails, but his human intuition tells him they're not alone. The plot just got a whole lot thicker.
So Yash knows you can't fight what you don't understand. He switches from ghost hunter to detective, digging into the history of the house to figure out where all this negativity is coming from. And what he uncovers? Well, it's not the story of a monster. It's the story of a heartbreaking tragedy.
Okay, this timeline, this is everything. This is the heart of the whole story. 15 years ago, this house was a happy place. A young woman named Maya was about to get married. But then, one horrible night, everything was shattered. A robber breaks in, her father Satpal is murdered trying to protect her, and the trauma of it all is just too much. Maya literally dies of a broken heart, right there in that same house. Her spirit is now forever trapped, tethered to the exact spot where her life fell apart.
So now, with this tragic backstory in hand, everything clicks for Yash. He finally understands what and who they're dealing with. He goes back to the house, confronts the spirit, and gets ready to tell the Kulkarni family the final, chilling truth about their new home.
So what's the big reveal? It's all laid out right here. This isn't your typical evil spirit. Maya's not trying to hurt anyone. This is what's known as a tragic haunting. All of those terrifying things that happened, the scratching, the flickering lights, the messed up files, they weren't attacks. They were desperate attempts to scare the family away, to just be left alone in the place where she suffered so much.
And here's the final, devastating blow. Yash's conclusion is just
absolute. He tells them that Maya's spirit is so deeply connected to this house, forged by all that trauma, that it's unbreakable. He says flat out, it's impossible to remove that spirit from this house. The only way this ends, the living have to leave. They have to give the house back to the dead.
So what do you do when you hear that? Faced with an impossible choice, the Kulkarni family really only has one option. Their dream is over. They pack up, they leave, and they seal the house, leaving it to Maya and her grief forever.
And, they say this story is based on a real event, that the house is still standing somewhere in Mumbai. And it leaves us with this one final haunting question. It makes you really think about what a ghost is, Maybe not some evil monster, but just a memory that won't fade, a pain that can't be healed. So, will Maya's spirit ever find peace? The story doesn't give us an answer, and maybe that's the scariest part of all.